In this video, we're going to take a look at Huawei Soyolink B622-335 model to see if it is worth buying. The unlocked version is sold with 3 years warranty in my country, and with unboxing you will find a manual, the router itself, and of course a charger. The charger is 24 watts, 12 volt, 2 ampere, and it looks like a quality charger. I like it. There was no LAN cable, at least in my box. On the box it says plug and play, 4G up to 400 megabits per second download and 75 megabits per second upload. Wi-Fi AX 1500 dual band, 4 gigabit Ethernet ports, and connect up to 64 devices. Design. This router looks minimalist. All LEDs are white except internet, which becomes red when not connected. It is a rectangle shape with rounded corners, which looks pretty nice. There is no brand name on the front, and all you see is just a few icons and 4G+. Between the front side and back panel is a rounded gray shape. It has the same color as the 4G+ font. You can also see the power and restart button above it. At the bottom you have a SIM slot and warranty screw. To insert a SIM card, all you need to do is push it inside and it will lock. And by the way, you can't do it wrong. On the back side we have a panel which most of the heat from the router goes out through this, because it was pretty warm. If you take the back panel, you will see 2 antenna ports there. I will talk about them later in the software review. By the way, the DIY and main antenna port do the same thing. It's just a second port as far as I know. Here you can see router ports. There are 4 gigabit ports. One of them can be WAN, 1 telephone port used for calling and answering calls, a reset button, and a power port. I give it a 7 out of 10 for design, because I prefer to have 5 indicators for signal quality instead of 3, and SIM slot is normally open. They could cover it with something, however you won't see it, but I prefer that. You only have 1 indicator for Wi-Fi. It could be nice if you could see which frequencies are used, like having 2 more LEDs for 2.4 and 5 GHz, and also 1 LED for new messages, so I don't need to check it myself. Software. Now it's time to check the software. To access the router settings, you can check the IP address from the back panel, take the username and password and enter that in a browser. In home you can see if you are connected to 4G or 4G+. If you click on devices, you can see a list of currently connected devices and a list of offline devices. You can also deny internet access to Wi-Fi devices. By clicking on bars, you will access internet settings, and if you click on my device, you will see many information plus signal information. In network settings, you can select 4G only or 3G only. In Ethernet settings, you can choose how the WAN port behaves. Remember, you can have both fiber or any other connections simultaneously, and if that disconnects, a SIM card connection will be preferred. It is nice, and here you can see Ethernet status, which I didn't connect to now. In Wi-Fi settings, 5 GHz preferred lets you connect to the same name, and it will switch automatically between bands. When you are far, it connects to 2.4, and when you are close, it changes to 5 GHz. But you also have 5 GHz dedicated if you like to connect only to 5 GHz. You can choose security mode, which this router supports up to VPA3 SAE. You can create guest Wi-Fi, give it a different name, password, time, etc. Device tab is the same as we were. In the tools tab, you can send or check messages and receive SMS reports or import SIM messages. Statics shows how much data you used. You can go to the settings and set data plan, set threshold, and that's all it is. You have parental controls where you can choose a specific device to access the internet only on times and days that you prefer. The advanced tab gives you access to more settings like Wi-Fi channel, mode, bandwidth, and all you need. In the security settings, you can create another Wi-Fi with a different name and separate security mode. Maybe you would need that for older devices. MAC filter is also available. VPS is also there with 3 methods, but I prefer to turn it off. You can update the router from here. You can change IP to access settings. In router settings, I change it. You can change DHCP settings or set a static IP address for devices. But what about the VPN support? This router supports L2TP PPTP client, and when you connect to it, all devices will be using VPN, and you can't use that for a specific device. In the security tab, you have a firewall, MAC filter, IP filter, virtual server, and special applications to open ports for. This is useful if you are a gamer. More than that, DMZ is excellent for gamers. SIP ALG if you make VoIP calls, UPnP again suitable for gamers, NAT settings, and at the end filtering domains if you have kids. At the top you have restart, logout, update, and SMS. You can also change the language. In the system you have a restart, reset, and one-click check that gives you info about the connection. You can test ping or trace route, change passwords, manage SIM pin, change time settings, enable link plus, change Wi-Fi password, schedule restart, and all the other settings that you may need. In antenna settings, you can choose which kind of antenna you want to use, internal, external, or both. You can use both of them simultaneously, internal and external, that you add to the router to get a better signal quality. You can select reconnect for network or access logs. There are also developer options for mlog and debug port. You usually don't need this part. In software, I give it a 5 of 10 because there are a few downsides, and when we compare it to B612 model, this is a newer model. For example, let us choose which frequencies of 4G we want to combine to achieve 4G+. It's automatically right now and it does a good job, but I prefer to have access to that part as well. Or the other thing I need is to choose which devices can use the VPN. Maybe I use the second Wi-Fi only for VPN and the main Wi-Fi without VPN, which you can't do it right now. I also need some settings to turn Wi-Fi off automatically at night and turn it on in the morning, which you can't do it right now. Mobile app. You can control these router settings through a mobile app which called AI Life. You can make a house plan in this app and then check the coverage to find the best location. Monitor real-time speeds, check devices, change settings, and read SMS. You have almost the same settings here, but with one difference. You can test signal quality, which is nice. Select find an optimal location and try a few times in different areas to see where it gets the best score. I give it a 7 of 10 as a mobile app. Does it worth buying? I got it for $165, the unlocked version which supports many frequencies. In my country, some companies use 4G bands 42 and 43, which was the perfect choice in my situation. However, it could be much better for this price. But if you are asking about the speeds and ping, especially if you are a gamer, there is a fact. I used to use this Huawei E8372 as a 4G router which connects with a USB port to my PC, and it has a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi. The fact is, except 4G Plus, in a normal situation I get the same speed here, around 100 megabits per second. And more importantly, ping is the same even with 4G Plus in my location. So it didn't improve ping or speed in the same situation. Maybe it's a bit better in terms of jitter. If you already have that little wingle, you don't need this one for an average 4G connection. By the way, there is a way to get a lower ping and fixed lag by using DNS and VPN, which you can check it out from here, where I showed you how to improve your gaming experience. I'll catch you there.